Hello, everybody. My name is Michael, and thank you for joining me on episode 3 of Entropy Diaries. The story's gone along absolutely fantastic. It's actually has exceeded my wildest dreams. I'm almost to 100 pages on it, and I'm about three quarters of the way done. That was a lot more than I had originally intended to write, but I just gotten into this groove on it, and I just can't stop writing. I can't seem to uh get to the point where I want to end it yet. And so that has affected my plans a bit. I've been doing some research on, like how many pages a minute is in a audiobook and that sort of thing. And depending on, like on a script like a TV script or a movie script, it's typically the rule is 1 minute per page. And for audio books, it's a little bit different. It depends on several factors. And one of those factors is like, page complexity, like the word density and what's going on. Is there a lot of dialogue, or is there, several characters talking? Is there a lot of action going on? Or is it a very descriptive page and stuff like that? So what I did was I took the first 10 pages and I did a literal dry run where I just read it. I didn't try to do any voices or change the tempo of my voice or anything like that. And I just, read it straight through. And those 10 pages took me about 15 minutes, give or take. It was an odd number. It was like 14 minutes and 33 seconds or something like that. So I just rounded it up to 15. And so yeah, I tend to I'm leaning more towards that 2 to 5 minute mark than I am the 1 minute mark that I originally assumed per page, because I was thinking about movie scripts and I don't know why. But so my new plan is to release at least a 30-minute video of the story on August 18th, and then in quick succession release several, as many 30-minute videos as needed to finish out the story. So that's my new plan. So for the first Entropy stories, you will get a part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, and so on until the story is complete. So I won't make you wait, months for a completion of the story. It will be within a week or two of the original launch that all the episodes or all the parts to that first episode will be out. And then I'll probably do a super cut, put them all together. So, if you did want to listen to them all at once, you'd have that easy source. And then, of course, on my website, which I don't have the Entropy website set up. I haven't really given it much thought lately. I was gonna set up a website because I am a software developer and I do, I do mostly work on websites and web applications and whatnot. I was going to put it up on one of those, make a site, put it up there and dedicate it to Entropy. That way you can go download the text version of the story if you wanted to read it that way. Might even get fancy and come out with an EPUB. Never know. And so I'll put that, these early ones, at least on my own website, my software developer website, because it's not a private site. It's a public site. It's meant for people to come and visit and register and whatnot. And so I'll probably do that. I'll probably set it up on that site so people can go download the text version if they want. I might even make the audio files, just pure audio files, like MP3s, available instead of the videos on YouTube on the site. I don't know yet. Um, I don't know. I mean, I probably should sell them at one point, but this building my audience, I want to give as much free access as I can, and I don't want people to feel like doing this for money. I'm not really doing it for money, so when it comes to releasing them, they will likely be free for the first, for a long while. And then I might do special editions, or, if I need money, or not need money, but if I want to raise money for something like new equipment, I might do, like a special offer or something. I don't know yet. That's a very far into the future. and I don't know where I'm going with that yet. But so yeah, that's the new plan. I hope you guys aren't disappointed if you're listening. If you are, I do apologize. But hopefully it makes the story. Like I said, I mean it's one of the most I've written in a very long time, and I'm quite happy with it. I've written so much that I've actually my carpal tunnel is starting to act. And I'm like, no, don't do it to me now. I tried dictation. I tried turning on dictation and just talking into the mic, and oh my, that is that's a chore in itself. I was like, no, that isn't gonna work. So yeah, typing is the only way. Um, all right, that's pretty much all the news I want to give on the current state of Entropy. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, as I'm developing the story and the characters and all that, something keeps creeping up in my mind, and that is who's the hero and who's the villain of this story. Because I don't necessarily write my characters as heroes and villains, because I don't believe in um, that you're always a hero and that you're always a villain. I think the circumstance makes you a hero or a villain of a story, and I believe that in like real life too. Like, yeah, I know they're. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not naive. I don't. It's not that I don't see evil people out there or saintly people. I do believe those people do exist. What I'm talking about is like average, everyday people. They might be perceived as evil or bad or very good or at least on the surface being good or bad. But they're really not. They're just their circumstances have driven them to being good or bad. And what I mean by that is, a few years before he passed away, one of my favorite comedians, Norm Macdonald, he was he's given an interview, and in that interview he said, it's never a battle of good versus evil out there in the real world. It's always a battle of good versus good because even like I don't want to get like into like things that can get me banned or in trouble on YouTube. So I'll use like fictional characters. Um like take Thanos from the Marvel universe. He never saw himself as the bad guy. He saw himself as somebody doing a necessary duty because this is something he believed in. Now, yes, what he was doing was evil. It did make him a bad guy. Don't get me wrong. He definitely was a bad guy. But, he didn't wake up every day going, evil cackle and rubbed his hands together and kicked a kitty or anything like that and said, what evil can I do today? He woke up every morning and he was like, this is a burden that I must carry and I, will go forth. And, in a lot of ways, Steve Rogers as Captain America and Tony Stark as Iron Man, they were good people, but were they really like the heroes? Yes, in a way they were, but their circumstances driven to that. What if Steve Rogers had been born in a different country and he had, was raised with different ideals, and he would have been a very different character. I mean, there's that one story arc of Superman where he didn't land in Kansas, he landed somewhere in like Siberia. He became like the Red Man or whatever, and he was very different character. So, but he still believed he was doing right. And that's how I kind of want people to view my characters when they read them. I don't want them necessarily to think that Mordecai, he's a good person for the most part, but he isn't necessarily the hero of the story. Just like Colonel Lucia Jimenez and Colonel Lue, they're not necessarily evil or even what I would call the villain. They're just the opposing force. Because in a lot of ways, Jimenez, she mirrors Mordecai. And they do, I guess you could say they do get along because it's like one of those, like, good guy, bad guy relationship type things where they do get along to some extent, and they probably would have been good friends under different circumstances. But the circumstances of the story has driven them to be on very opposite sides of a conflict, and they have to deal with each other then as enemies. So, if anything, she's an enemy of Mordecai. She's not necessarily the villain of the story. And the reason I say that is, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily ever see the world as black and white. Like there's good people, good guys, bad guys, heroes and villains. I see the world is very, very muddied, in a lot of ways. Mm, and Lucia Jimenez is one of those people. She's got layers. She's a person. She makes mistakes. She puts her pants on one leg at a time. And if you're one of those people that jump into your pants, you're a weirdo, but it doesn't make you wrong or evil or bad. It just makes you different. And that's how she is. She's just different than Mordecai. And it's like I said, I've had a lot of fun writing her. And originally, I had killed off the character from the original story that she took the place of because he was a man. It was a man in the first story. But when I decided to, work on it and rewrite it, I based her on this very tough, spunky, hard woman from Virginia. She was a Marine, and her name was Lucia. Jimenez wasn't her last name, but her first name was Lucia. That's why I gave her this name. And she was very resolved in her beliefs. she she could drink ice water and or I'm sorry, she could drink boiling water and piss ice cubes. I mean, she was a very cold, hard woman. But she also had a softer side to her. I didn't date her or anything. She was a neighbor. She was a neighbor, and we had become friends when I lived out there. And I always thought she'd make a good, interesting character because, like I said, she was like a firecracker. As one of the other neighbors would put it, she was 10 pounds of crazy in a 5 pound bag. But she wasn't crazy. She was a very, very determined woman. I'll tell you that much. And so I modeled her personality after Lucia, and that I knew, an actual woman that I knew who was a Marine. And so she has this like no nonsense attitude, but she is snarky and extremely sarcastic, and which I am. So I mean, I'm extremely sarcastic, and so it kind of gives me an ability to express a side of me that I don't often get to express is my sarcasm. Because people see, a lot of people see sarcasm as a negative, and I don't want to be cut. I don't see myself as a negative person, but I do see myself as a sarcastic person. And so in a lot of ways, her sarcasm that comes out throughout the book, I'm not the book, but the story is my own sarcasm. And so and plus she's such a difference to Mordecai, and because I don't want to get stuck in just writing stories about Mordecai. I want to explore the world because I got a lot of characters I like to explore, and he's just one of them. I mean, he is a viewpoint character. He's the main character. But I've enjoyed writing Rachel. I've enjoyed writing Leland. Like I said, I've definitely enjoyed writing Lucia. And originally, I had killed the guy that she's based off in the original story. I killed him off at the end of the story, but I don't think I'm going to do that for her because I want her to return, and But the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want her to become a personification of One Earth, the mortals in the story, the other side in the story, compared to Mordecai and his people. I don't want her to become a personification of them. So I will use her sparingly, and I just don't know when I'll bring her back, but I will bring her back eventually because, like I said, I've enjoyed a lot writing her character and developing the character. And I think she offers a good contrast to Mordecai and his brother and all that. So I think this video has gone on long enough. It's been a pleasure. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next.